Chapter 124. Veldora's Pav. Kuahahaha. Welcome, everyone. It is I, the storm dragon, Veldora. I shouted as I left my room cave and stretched my body, taking in the fresh air of the forest. It had been more than 300 years since I was told to remain hidden in the forest of Jura by Brother Rimuru. I still kind of have no idea why, but if he says it is important, then it must be. Kuahahaha. It is absolutely not because my sister explicitly emphasized that I cannot be found outside of my seal, and let people know I am free to wander. Of course, I have done an excellent job in doing so. I usually leave the cave every few months or so when I get bored and visit the local monster population. Of course, I hid my aura. Those weak monsters would die just being in the presence of someone as great as I, after all. For some reason, they don't question my presence, though. I have never experienced any attempt on my life as someone who appears and feels like a human. I guess they can feel my hidden power. Those monsters are truly wise and smart to not attack or disrespect me. Even if they are under my brother's territory, he has allowed me freedom in the forest. 1 or 2 villages missing would hardly be a problem for him. Though, I think he would be angry if I killed some Kijans or Onis. Just imagining brother being enraged is sending shivers down my spine. Anyway, that's not important right now. I have been given freedom to wander the city Brother Rimuru has built in the forest. He has been planning this for hundreds, if not more than 1,000, years, and I want to see what kind of kingdom he has built for monsters. I had visited the city a lot of times in the past already. I was there when they celebrated the official completion of all construction of the capital. I even drank with the common monsters, hobgoblins, orcs, and ogres laughing and drinking their alcohol. Speaking of which, the orcs make some very tasty drinks. I think they called it beer. Though I like heavier drinks. Sister gave me a cup of alcohol that Brother Rimuru had in the past, and it was so tasty. She told me that he only has very few left and has been drinking it sparingly. I tried looking for its origin with my unique skill Inquirer, but to no avail. I can't find it. Walking through the streets of the city, I could see that more monsters of different kinds had been popping up. Halflings and kobolds, which were never there the last time I visited, had become a common sight. Ho, are those lizard men? They are so far from their lake, sis. It is probably for that city Brother Rimuru mentioned he would be making for the other parts of the forest. Ah, Vey, alias Sama, it is good to see you again. One of the goblinas near the food stalls waved at me. I believe her name was Gobuna. Also, for secrecy's sake, I had taken the moniker of alias. Quite the mysterious name, is it not? Kuahahaha. Now both brother and sister won't scold me for randomly moving around. I bet if I visited a human settlement, they wouldn't even be able to guess that I wasn't human. Oh, how has it been? I went toward the stall, grabbing 3 of the skewers in each hand. The forest isn't that used to currency yet, if I recall, and as long as everyone does their part, they always will be compensated anyway. I just take what I want from the food stalls, and they never charge or complain, so I just do it continuously. It has been well here. More monsters are coming, and I heard that the city near the south is almost finished. As expected from the orcs, having the ability to build structures at great speed. The orcs have been doing very well in both the city and the entire forest. From what I was told, and from what I know, they were on the verge of extinction due to famine and an infestation of things called insects, I believe. I tilted my head as I walked, chewing on the skewers in my hands. My goal was to go to the castle where they should be. Oh my, Veldora, is that you? Hearing that soft feminine voice, I turned around after swallowing the food in my mouth. The being in front of me was Ramirez, the spirit queen, in her true adult form. It was very surprising for me. She was just in her pixie form almost a few months ago, then suddenly she was in her spirit form. It was like seeing a baby randomly becoming an adult the next day. I didn't really have any particular connection or opinion on her other than she was very kind and almost motherly when in her spirit queen form, and childish and annoying in her pixie form. The contrast was so large that the first time I saw it, I was so confused. Hello, Ramirez. Is Sister and Rimuru here? Rimuru is not here. Velgrind is, though. Follow me. She shook her head as she gestured for me to follow her. I didn't really have any particular plans for the day, so I just shrugged and joined her. Going into the castle's garden, where the gate to the labyrinth was, there was a table and chairs with a set of cups. Surrounding the table were 4 women aside from Ramirez. Veldora, why are you here? Sister Velgrind was the first to speak up upon seeing me. Rimuru is currently out to Sarian. I just brought him here to join us, Ramirez said as she sat down between Sister Velgrund and Seal. By the way, Seal is a bit of a weird one for me. The two primordials, Carrera and Ultima, were demons I know went outside of this world with Brother Rimuru, but the angel was not. I was so surprised when Velgrund introduced her as Lei, the emotionless, almost scary seraph. Lei was right now sitting down and in this world. The first time I heard it, I prayed for my survival, and for the well-being of Brother's enemies. I mean, don't get me wrong, any one of my siblings and Brother Rimuru are scary when angry. But Lei, Seal is just different. When she warns you not to do something, you don't do it. Others will just beat you to death and you can safely revive. Seal, you'll wish that you stayed dead after she's done with you. Just a piece of advice for anyone that wants to mess with her, don't ever mention anything bad about Brother Rimuru. If you want to live, just praise and compliment him non-stop. I take that back, she'll know you're only lying to survive, which might make her angrier. Just shut your mouth around her. Where were we again? Hearing Ramirez's voice, I didn't even notice that I was already sitting down with them as they discussed their previous topic. It was mostly boring stuff like torturing people, their life fighting an endless battle in space, and basically other chores. How is Rimuru and Velgrund doing? Ramirez asked, turning to Seal. The question may seem strange to many. After all, Sister was right beside her and Brother Rimuru was probably just here earlier. But they weren't talking about Cardinal Rimuru or Cardinal Velgrund, as they were called by the others for simplicity and convenience as Sake. They were talking about the Citadel Rimuru and Velgrund, the parallel existences working behind the scenes to wipe out the invading insectars trying to slither their way into this world. Yeah, there are massive losses on both sides. Carrera leaned on her chair, even tilting it as she explained. Most of the relevant and strong ones on both sides are dying. I think most of the children of Ouroboros are dead. Only Apophis is the only one remaining, Ultima added to Carrera's point. Those names are unknown to me. Ouroboros, Apophis, what's this talk about snakes? What about on your side? Have there been any casualties? Are Agni and Runa still alive? Ramirez asked, her tone slightly worried for some reason. I guess those two are acquaintances of hers. I have never heard of those names before, but if she, the Spirit Queen, is worried for them, they must be someone worthy of being acknowledged by her. Agni and Runa are both safe. They are currently preparing for the last battle to come in the near future. Seal was the one that answered this time around, taking a sip of her tea. Though we did have casualties on their side. She glanced at the two primordials with us. They look annoyed for some reason. Hey, don't think about getting angry at Seal, she's scary, you know. They aren't thinking about me, Veldora. She suddenly said coldly. Can she read my thoughts? Does she have a powerful skill that can read even my mind? Did she hear everything? I am so scared. Wait, I'm sorry for everything I just thought of. I did not mean them. I swear, I didn't read your thoughts. She suddenly sighed. Well, that was a relief, I thought I was doomed. Your expressions tell everything, Sister suddenly said, rolling her eyes. Ramirez giggled at this before turning to the two primordials. So, who were the casualties on your sides? Lendi, Abbas, Femina. I think the newcomers as well, Ultima began listing them. Carrera fixed her rocking chair and placed her head on her open palm, resting it on the table. Basically everyone not Diablo, Testarossa, Zejin, Apido, and those two spirits. Then, Citadel is basically empty, Ramirez replied. Isn't that disadvantageous, especially with you two here? Carrera shrugged. There are still many demons, spirits, saints, and other beings on Rimuru-sama's side, they just can't replace those people that died. They continued to chat about it, and frankly, it was getting boring for me, so I just excused myself. How did I do that? Well, I just stood up, said goodbye, and flew off. What, did you think I escaped by just flying away? Sister would have dragged me by the foot for being disrespectful like that. It barely took any time for me to reach the city being built near the capital of Orbic, where the trade hub satellite city was almost done. It was a large city, almost as big as the capital, with the only difference being the gigantic warehouses spread across the entire city. Each part of the city was full of warehouses and large buildings, which are the most populated areas. There were even large spaces that can place the carriages and horses used to transport the products. Oh, is that the place where the wyverns were supposed to land? Seeing the open area near the edge of the satellite city with some markings on the ground, I landed there. Some of the wyvern riders, orcs, and lycanthropes were carrying and sorting wooden boxes filled with both food and cloth to be sent to different places. I ignored their looks and went past them. I think I heard them whispering something and returning to their normal routine, but I don't really care about all that. Looking through the wyverns resting and those being saddled up to fly, I was amazed by the way they used those flying lizards. I think it was the lizard men who thought of taming the wyverns. It was truly ingenious. It is not something normally thought of, especially for logistics and transportation. Normally, if you see someone riding a wyvern, you would think of a smart monster incorporating wyverns into their army to gain more leverage and power against the other monsters. But, as the place was not just a free-for-all territory but brothers' personal domain, they didn't have to fear infighting, as everyone part of the forest will be welcomed and protected as their own. There might be some fear between previously rival tribes like the bovoids and equinoids, but they just had to suck it up and work together. If they have any complaints, they can challenge brother or leave the forest. Though, I doubt they'd even be able to leave the forest without being hunted down by the dryads and the onus. Especially those onus, they are so devout to brother that it is almost fanatical. Normally they seem stoic and act like normal monsters, but behind closed doors they are some of the most eager to obey his command. Their devotion is second only to the demons, which are known to give their all to the person they call master. I still find it hard to believe that brother has 4 primordials under him. Even Guy Crimson only has 2. As expected of him, kuahahaha. Grabbing some fruit from one of the open wooden boxes, I wandered through the busy streets. There were a larger number of orcs and various lycanthrope tribes. Carriages carrying fruits and vegetables from Eurazania are continuously being brought into the city. Looking to the large warehouses, I can see some hobgoblins carrying what seems to be ledgers. Some were even talking with the kobolds near them, who were ordering someone inside. The orcs would then bring the carriages into the warehouse, carrying the wooden boxes into their respective places to be distributed into the forest. Most will reach the capital, which would then be spread out to the nearby villages that are still being used to live in. Oh, are those beers? I quickly ran towards the carriage a group of orcs were guarding. Orc, I'll help carry those. While they looked at me weirdly, they passed me one of the large clay jars that would be carried to a different location to be stored. While they weren't looking, I quickly fled, carrying the large jar filled with beer. Looking at the sun finally setting, I decided to return to my room cave for the day and return tomorrow for another sightseeing. To be continued.